Hi, I'm Billie, and I am the author of the Enlightened Series. I started writing this story back in 2010, but I've had this story in my mind for much longer. um, at that time, I was employed as a school bus driver, and then I ended up in public transit um, because it was better money. Well, sort of. At that time, I can't say it was better money. No, but it was 40 hours a week and a full-time job, so I took it. Um, but it wasn't 40 hours a week. It was more like, well, because it's me and I was having a lot of financial issues at the time. I started there, I think, in 2014, and I was working a good 70 hours a week to try to make ends meet. But it didn't matter how hard I was working because I was falling behind on everything. Like, no matter how many hours I put in, I just could not earn the money I needed to sustain my home life. So about a year later, in 2015, I was lying on the couch one night and I was depressed because I knew that, well, at this time, the scenario that was happening, I was working my butt off and still losing everything. And I realized I was going to end up with nothing I really wanted. And then, kind of like magic, my phone rang, and it was my boss at the school bus. And she was calling me about a rumor she had heard. And before she really started talking, the plan was suddenly there. Um, I said to her, I want to come back. I'm going to quit that job and I'm going to come back full time. And she was so surprised. She was like, "What? You want to come back?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm quitting there. I'm going to come back." Suddenly the plan was there. I was quitting that day job and I was going to stop paying everything. Screw them. I'm going to, you know what? If I'm going to lose that, then I'm just going to do what I want and let the chips fall where they may. And I did. And I I went in the very next day and I put in my notice, my 2 weeks notice, and I went back to the school bus to finish my book project. And I was very honest about what I was doing. And some people, I think a lot of people had thoughts about that and opinions, but I didn't care because I was losing everything anyway. So what was I really losing? And I wanted to finish my book project. But I knew the clock was ticking. That was totally evident. So, in between my morning and afternoon route, working at the school bus, I worked on this story, and I finished it in, I want to say, May of that year. So it was 20 ended up being 2016 when I finished it. So I think May or June. It was towards the end of the school year. And then I started looking at self-publishing companies, trying to figure out what do I do next. I started working on trying to find a way to publish it because I had never done any of that before. And I found this self-publishing company that took payments, so it was easier at that time to publish, and it worked pretty well. But at the time when I was doing it, I went through all the editing. I went through a developmental edit. I went through the copy edit and proofread and all of it. I paid for all this extra editing. But the self-publishing company I used wasn't that good. I don't think, I realized now it was not that good. And they were just telling me what I wanted to hear instead of helping me churn out the book that I should have. But I took the chance because I knew that clock was ticking because that ride was not going to last forever. Um, and there's more to that story, actually. But so I published it. It finally was published in November of 2016. But if you look on like Amazon or whatever, and you look up Enlightened, it says 2017. There's a reason for that too. So, so I published it, and but I always had this feeling when I did it that um, it wasn't right. Like there was something missing. Like it was incomplete somehow. But I kept going because I felt like the clock was ticking on however much time I have to make it as a writer, or in my home before everything just, exploded and was up in the air. So, or exploded and not just in the air, but just exploded. Who knows what it would have happened? I had whatever crazy scenario in my head. So, I almost lost my house. Oh, yeah. Um, but all that ended up working out, believe it or not. Um, and I'm still in there. And financially speaking, things are okay. So I can't complain. But I worked my butt off promoting that series by selling like everything in my home to go to Book Expo and BookCon. And if you Google my name, you will see that I've done that. Um, I can spell it all for you if you need me to. Billie Kowalewski. I totally did that. I ended up doing that trade show 3 years in a row, and I published two more books in that series. Those don't feel complete to me either. I do realize that now. Um, and then fast forward a little bit to March of 2020. I had worked my butt off to go to the Tucson Book Festival, and I was about to do that. I had sent all my books out there, promotional materials, you name it. I sent those, and I had plane tickets to go there. The reason I picked it is because my daughter was going to school there, so it was just ideal. I got to I was going to visit my daughter, and I was going to be promoting my book series to, uh, well, according to the website, it said up to 150,000 people attend that book festival. So I was excited. I bought like 2,000 fortune cookies. I was going to do a giveaway. I was going to make it as far as I was concerned. And then the day before I was scheduled to leave, they canceled the festival. So I can't say I wasn't mad. I was definitely devastated right there. I did go to Tucson anyway because my daughter. Makes sense. Um, I mailed all my stuff home, and I ended up going to California for a day because I never gone. So I took the chance and I did that, and I can definitely I can post pictures if anybody's interested. And I went home and I was like, what now? What do I do now? Um, it felt like my journey with that was over. And then I started to realize that maybe it's not over. Like, maybe this is going to give me a clean slate, because how long could this plague outlast, right? That's what I was thinking. So I saved my money and I went looking for a really good developmental editor. I found one. His name is Sean. He's out of Texas, and I think he's great. And if anybody's interested, um, put something in the comments, and I will definitely refer you, because he did a fantastic job with helping me figure out what was missing in this story. And then I went to work on it. And I worked on it for almost 3 years. And it's definitely where it was supposed to be. I don't feel like it's incomplete anymore. I know it's done. It's definitely ready, and I did retitle it. it is now called Our Lives in Between, and it is the first book in the Enlightened series. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the other two books yet. Not entirely, but I have some ideas. And thanks to Sean, I have the tools I need to make that work. I still don't know what's in it yet. Not 100%. Just some. And there might be a fourth book, actually. So, stick with me. There just might be. I just can't help myself sometimes with this. I don't know how other authors do this stuff. I don't know how they can just like write multiple, different books or whatever. Like I stick with the same people, and I'm gonna finish their story, and then I'll move on to something else. I do have another story idea that I want to work on at some point, but that's on the back burner. My characters are really important to me, and they're like family, and I can't just leave them dangling like that. I just can't. So, so yeah, it's gonna be called Our Lives in Between, and it will be published probably in September. I don't know how other authors do it. I can't finish it and then wait a whole year to publish because I'm impulsive and I just can't do it. I don't know why I'm like this. I guess it's just a part of what makes me me, and I wouldn't be like this if it wasn't an acceptable way to be, right? Right. So yeah, so it's Our Lives in Between. Right now it is being proofread, and the cover is being designed. And I love my cover artist. He's awesome. I already highly recommend him, and I've barely seen anything from him yet. Just some sketch ideas, and I'm really excited about this. I do have one event scheduled so far, possibly two.